I'm walking down to this place called the Quayside, which is like a river in the middle of the city. And I normally just go there to chill, but today was a bit different. I was pissed. I was so vexed, and it was in my first year at uni. I'm walking down, and I get to this little place where there's like a shelter. It's all like covered from the rain, and people just go there to sit down and chill. And I open up my packet, and I find my trusted Super Kings. Whacked them out, had about 6 or 7 left, and I was so pissed off that I just came through them all. I smoked every single cig to the bottom, discarded the packet, and it wasn't enough. I was still that frustrated that I rang up some people I knew and I was like, look, are you at Yada? They said, yeah. I went up, smoked the joint, and then went to sleep. I had to relieve the pain I had of losing a FIFA game. Now I was thinking to myself, why is this happening to me? Like, why am I getting so frustrated? It's not fair. But then I realised it was my fault that I got to that position. It was the habits that I had on a day-to-day basis that led me to that low point. I got to a point where the only place where I could find positive emotion was from winning a game. And these are some of the 4 habits that led me to that tragic and sad existence that I used to be in. And the first thing, knowing what I know now, it's going to be controversial, but I'll tell you straight up, is playing video games is a waste of time. Video games have been created by multi-billion-dollar industries to do one thing, and it's to fulfill your deep psychological desires. You don't play games for any other reason because you want to feel something. You get the adrenaline from a shooting game. You play Witcher and exploring games because you have an exploratory nature. You play massive multiplayer games because you want a sense of community. But the trick is, once the power goes out, you're left with nothing. So if you're playing video games still to this day, just realise that there's a psychological desire that you're either too scared to fulfill, or you don't have enough self-awareness to understand that there's something there that's missing. Now, I didn't know that back then. And when someone told me that video games is, it's not the best, it's not good for you, you can be so much more without it, I was literally there, listening to this sort of thing, and I would say, he's chatting shit. There's no way video games are good. That's just what goes on in my mind back then. I was telling myself, no, it's alright. And I'm guaranteed that's what you're telling yourself now as well. No, it's fine, it's time to relax. But you know, if that power goes out, you've gained nothing from it. Pretty much every single person that you look up to, if he's masculine and he's focused and disciplined, he will not be wasting his time with video games. And the second thing was unhealthy eating. Tesco meal deals, frozen food, constant nuggets and fish fingers and pies and things like that. Your food gives you energy, and you're filling yourself with saturated, unhealthy foods, and you wonder why you can't focus and why you didn't have the energy. Since I started curating my diet to one of nutrition, I started swapping to have much more whole carbs, less saturated fats, a cleaner, more nutritious diet. My focus has increased so much. And you can spot the kind of people who are high performers because you can look at their diet and look at what they eat. 99% of the time, they'll be eating good, clean food. And if I knew what I knew back then, I would have started this shift so much earlier. If you can be strict with your diet, think about how you can be even stricter. It will only pay you more benefit in the long run. The next habit, and I call this a habit because it is, it's the people you meet and surround yourself with consistently. Think about this. If you've got shit surroundings, you're going to have shit habits. If you're going to have amazing surroundings with inspiring and hardworking and motivated people, you're going to have amazing habits. But then this is the scariest one. If you've got an okay surrounding, you're just going to sit there with okay habits. There's a thing called the region beta paradox. And it means if things are not that bad enough that you don't need to change, then you won't change. And I can guarantee you 90% of people, you'll be sat in that category. You're around people who are just okay. They're not doing terrible, but they're not doing anything amazing either. And you need to be very, very careful because you can stay in that lane for a very long time. Now, if you're an ambitious individual, you want to exceed beyond your limitations and unlock your true potential, that's the first thing I'd be worried about. And the last habit that killed absolutely every single cell in my brain was procrastination. Do you know who procrastinates or what procrastinates the most? They're rats. All they do is go from one end to another seeking the garbage that they can find because they need that dopamine hit. Before you watch this video, I bet you're on Instagram, scrolling. And before you're on Instagram, I bet you're on TikTok, scrolling. And then you went off and went back on Instagram, and then back on TikTok. And then you probably hopped on YouTube to watch some videos. That's the life of a rat. You see, to be a masculine man and have good habits, you are proactive. You decide the inputs. You choose what goes on your plate, not the other way around. The biggest mistake I made was thinking that procrastination was a rest. Taking a break and going on your phone is probably one of the worst things that you can do. I've got systems in place where I don't have Instagram, I've deleted it. I deleted TikTok as well. And on my YouTube homepage, I can't procrastinate because I don't have a homepage. I have an ad or a Chrome extension installed in there called Unhook, which basically blacks out every single suggested video and sidebar where it gives you more videos. It doesn't exist. It's not there. Because I don't want the option to procrastinate. My mind has to be in the right place where I want it to be at all times. If you've got even a niggling habit, a small thing that you know that you should get rid of, I want to encourage you to do it. You will see dividends, massive changes in your life just in the future. If you scroll too much on Instagram, cut it down. If you're playing too much video games, cut it down. There's a level to you that you don't know that you can access. And you can't access it because you're wasting time with these habits and you're occupying your mental garage with these habits. But you know my message. Keep building, keep progressing, and I'll catch you in the next one.